Papanui-Innes, Ellie Jones.
I'm Kelly. Yeah, I'm good. Hi, we'll keep it snappy. I haven't looked at this right through. It's just going to flick through. Is it on a timer, or will you do it, Christine?
I can do it.
Thank you very much. It's my lovely assistant, Christine. That's us. We don't need to see that. No, move on. Okay, so McFarlane Park. This is the next stage in the changeover from the St Albans Transitional Community Centre project, if you like. So the transitional centre is moving into McFarlane Park, and that will be a fantastic facility for the people living in that area, totally unrelated to the Shirley Community Centre. They are completely different projects for different communities. So that's very exciting, and the Lions are here in March, so that'll be very cool. This is a huge thing in our community at the moment with St Albans Park and Pavilion upgrade. Interestingly, the press reported a $2.3 million budget on that. I believe it's really 1.2, 1.3, but I'm just getting those figures checked. Hey? Oh yeah. Well, the figures I've got and the board's been given are around 1.2 total, but that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I have to say that the staff have been phenomenal in keeping the community informed about what's going on, and those storyboard picturey things on the fence are fabulous. And also liaising directly with residents who are right by the park. That's been really good as well. So can't wait for that to happen and get underway and be open. The edible awards, the applications for those close on the 2nd of March. I think Mike's entered again this year. You haven't this year? What, are you scared? Were you put off last year? You didn't want to threaten me, right? Okay, my tomatoes are awesome this year, so I think I'll be taking that one out. We've got 35 people in the awards this year, down from around 45 last year, which was a record, but that's because a lot of the older entrants are just not entering anymore. So we're encouraging youngies through schools and through local groups. So that's still a great thing that we do in the ward. We love it. The Jelly Park Pool Party, again, this is a fantastic project that we do, and we do this one with Fendleton, Waimari and Harewood. Staff put a huge amount of time and effort into that, and this year we had more than 200 youths involved in that, on 260 local youths involved in that on the 8th of December, so fantastic. Children's Day, check that out that's citywide, and that's on Red Zone land, and it's always a fantastic family celebration on Sunday the 4th of March. Again, all of the boards working together on that. It is across the city, isn't it? Yeah. And the Burwood Coastal Ward. Beg your pardon? Oh, you just heckling, Dave, just shush. So the CNC is continuing as well. This is just part of our keeping an eye on things as far as stress and pressure on residents and businesses are concerned. This is a big project in our ward, and it's going to have some pretty significant impacts for residents and for traffic in the area. CNC have been fantastic. Their comms and engagement is wonderful, their fly-throughs, everything, so that's been fantastic as well. A bit more on that. That's more again. Abandoned houses, this is an issue that we believe might be a problem across the city. I know we've heard about the Central City project on this. These are a couple in Westminster Street, and that house has just appeared, the one on the right there, which used to be the old Cohen's weight loss building, in case anyone is interested. Don't ask me how I know that. And there's a bit of a mess here, the pavement's damaged, so it's not just about the site for these places, it's the periphery as well. And the problem that we're having with these in the ward at the moment, there aren't a huge number. This is another one on the corner of Papanui Road and Innes Road. This is on our side of Papanui Road in our ward. I believe that one has been abandoned since virtually the day after the 2011 earthquake. And the problem is that unless the building or the site is a health and safety risk or is a fire risk, there is very little we can do. And I'm wondering if, and the board would like to know whether we can have some initial advice from staff, and perhaps it can go to regulations and consents with regards to what we can do as a city council. Our measure seems to be very high. The bar is high when it comes to deciding whether a site or a building is a fire risk. You know, it can look really like it might just self-combust, and yet it doesn't seem to meet the measure. So if we could just get some advice and information on that, and what are our powers limited to? Is there anything we can do that could extend that so we can start getting rid of some of these eyesores and dangers really in our... It's part of our recovery not to be looking at this stuff every day. And I think that's... street damage is another part of the recovery as well, and I know the pressures that the council is under and the issues around standards of repair, but, you know, this is just unacceptable, and it's not on any plan to repair soon these particular streets. One of them is around Rugby Park, but I think that's pretty awful for people having to be walking dogs and walking along and driving past. So we just want some emphasis and effort put on the repairs of our pavements and roads, please, in the ward. And it worsens after rain, we know that, but it's being exacerbated as well. That's it.
Very good. So,
so just if I could note the issue about the advice from staff on the abandoned houses, and that's all.
Yeah. Do you want to just put a note there, just so to note that staff will provide advice on abandoned properties, because it's not just the houses, it's the fire risk. And fire health and safety and fire risk in terms of and
we've also had a number of staff changes in our community board governance team in the last wee while, and I just want to acknowledge the work that Christina's doing at the moment. She's hit the ground running and come in and is just fantastic at keeping all of us in the loop and juggling a whole lot of balls at once. So thank you, Christine.
No, that's not quite right. And it's not just the community board. I thought we were going to go through regulatory
regs and consents.
Regulatory performance. Yeah. So staff will provide advice to the regulatory performance committee on all of the it's on all of the risks around abandoned properties, because it's not just health and safety and fire risks, it's actually just living in an environment that's amenity was the word I was looking for. Thank
and
you.
It's empty sites as well, Leanne. So
on all that. Hang on, and empty sections. Yeah.
And can I just point out that not all of the houses are like abandoned. Makes it seem like people have just sort of dropped and left and don't care. But many of these will be sort of under discussion still, insurance issues. They're not abandoned, they're just not able to go back. There might be a desire to. So just that the word abandoned itself sort of implies a lack of care. So it might be vacant and earthquake damaged or something rather than...
I know, but we're only talking about when the council would take regulatory action.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about... people that haven't settled their insurance, and
but through you, Leanne, can a part of this work be actually, because I agree with Sarah that we need to know why these buildings are like this. That's got to be part of informing how we can manage them, because you do not want to dump.
Can we just get the initial advice on what the current rules are and how they're applied, and whether there are any changes to the regulatory framework? We've got a process in place around the CBD.
Yeah.
We would need to design a completely different approach for residential, and it does require a very careful and considered approach, because some people are pretty embarrassed about the state.
Can we say abandoned/vacant, so it just covers it?
Yep.
Because I do understand what Sarah's saying.
Around abandoned/vacant.
Thank you.
Properties and empty sections. Yeah.
Does the work with the barriers address this?
No, that's CBD.
No, but it also went further than just the CBD, the way that they wrote it.
That's the advice we're looking for, I think.
Yeah. We wanted to kick off with just getting advice, and I wanted it noted for the council on an agenda. That's all. So, well, perhaps you could add to the thing and relevant bylaws, because that way because if regulatory performance are going to come up with some if they're going to consider the advice, then it may well be that they can then start to give some direction about where we go with this. Do we?
Question.
Yeah, Glenn.
Oh, thank you. Just wonder whether the housing subcommittee could also receive that. It's still a
Take
live
it off.
issue.
Just get rid of it. Get rid of it. We're not going to note anything in the minute. I mean, it's just.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
want to turn this into a
No, I'm only
multiple
asking
layer
whether-
things. It is around the regulations.
Yeah,
it's around
that's what.
bylaws.
Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
No,
I
I was
just-
only asking for.
It's
go
just
the
to
same.
get. Well, it can be circulated to everyone.
Yeah, okay.
But it's. I just want somebody to look at what the current rules and regulations are, and then try and look at what we need to do next. It's a perfectly valid thing that the community board have brought up. I want a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could work.
Ask whether that resolution or gives the width of that committee being able to look at things like ordering councils and regeneration plans. Because we've been through this numerous times as a city and the advice has always been consistent. So that we can't do things through district plan and bylaws. So I guess, I mean, I really welcome us looking at this. I just didn't want to limit it to.
Just, do you know what the, you do know what all the rules are. I don't know what all the rules are, and I don't know the standard that triggers action, and I couldn't tell you, hand on heart, the sequence of events that staff have to go through to order compliance or compel compliance. So I don't know what that is. So let's just get a piece of advice written down, referred to the relevant committee, and then take it from there. It's just on the agenda now. Mike? Well, I was going to let Pauline second as the other council member. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried.